Hello, everyone, and welcome to VLGA Connect. I'm Chris Eddy. Good to have you with us for our weekly program, which is sponsored by Hunt and Hunt Lawyers. We bring you news from around the sector in Victoria and talk to some interesting people from around the sector about current issues. And on the program today, I'll be joined by the CEO of Maribyrnong City Council, Celia Haddock. We'll be talking about new local laws requiring authorised officers to be trained in the city's homelessness protocol, plus her challenge to property owners about land banking in central Footscray and more. Plus, we'll chat with Mia Shaw, a councillor from Wyndham City Council, after her recent election to the board of the VLGA. That's part of our continuing Meet the Board series here on VLGA Connect. But first, it's time for this week's Connect News headlines. Well, Councillor Kylie Spears from Maroondah City Council has won the inaugural Mary Rogers Award for Women in Local Government. The VLGA presented the award at Parliament House this week, recognising Councillor Spears' visionary leadership and her work to champion gender equality. Brimbank's Councillor Catherine Nicolek took out the Emerging Woman Leader Award, while Monash City Council was named Gender Equality Council Champion. The awards are named after Victoria's first elected woman councillor in 1920 and aim to inspire more women to stand for local government. The VLGA is supporting work towards a target of 50% women councillors and mayors by the 2028 election. Hepburn Shire Council has condemned a physical attack on its Chief Executive Officer Bradley Thomas, who had coffee thrown at him outside a Dalesford cafe last week. The council passed an urgent motion this week reaffirming zero tolerance for abuse and demanding staff safety protections. The Mayor, Councillor Tony Clark, will seek urgent meetings with state ministers to improve legislation safeguarding councillors and officers. 6 Wimmera and Southern Mallee councils have united to form a new regional alliance. The Wimmera Southern Mallee Alliance brings together Buloke, Hindmarsh, Horsham, Northern Grampians, West Wimmera and Yarriambiack councils. The alliance aims to deliver a united voice on critical issues ahead of a state election next year. The rural city of Wangaratta will shut down its North East Family Daycare service from January 1st. The council said the closure follows years of declining educator numbers that left the scheme running at a significant financial loss. 8 educators and around 40 families across Wangaratta and Indigo Shire will be affected. Hume City Council's Jacksons Hill redevelopment in Sunbury has been shortlisted for a National Growth Areas Alliance award in the Place and Community Activation category, recognising the transformation of a former psychiatric ward into a community arts and cultural precinct. Baw Baw Shire Council has launched a new emergency dashboard that consolidates verified emergency information from multiple sources into one central online platform accessible via Council's website. Maribyrnong has introduced a dusk to dawn cat curfew as part of its new domestic animal management plan. The 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew will commence from 1 July next year, with a 24/7 cat curfew to be revisited in the longer term. Tammy Smith has been unanimously reappointed as Yarriambiack Shire Council's CEO for another 5 years, and Baw Baw Shire has extended the appointment of acting CEO Mick Cummins through to the 2nd of January. He's supporting the organisation while CEO Tilla Buden undergoes treatment and recovery following a recent breast cancer diagnosis. And that's the latest from VLGA Connect News. Don't forget, you can keep up to date with regular news from across the sector Australia-wide on the Local Government News Roundup, 3 times a week on your podcast player, brought to you by the VLGA. It is a distinct pleasure to now welcome to VLGA Connect for the first time the CEO of Maribyrnong City Council, Celia Haddock. Celia, so great to see you. Welcome along.
Lovely to see you too, Chris. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, we wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that have made the news recently out of Maribyrnong that I thought would be of interest to our audience. And one of them was the changes you've made to your local laws, particularly around empowering your officers to deal with homelessness more constructively. Can you just give us a bit of a picture of what is the issue there in Maribyrnong? How significant is homelessness as a problem?
Well, homelessness is a large problem across the whole Western region. I think we had 38,000 people over the last year who went for help who were homeless, who went for help. there's probably double that many people, and many of them are in Maribyrnong. We have a lot of people, Chris, who are what you'd call couch surfing. So they kind of stay a little bit hidden out of the system. And then we have a number of rough sleepers, mainly in the Footscray CBD area. We had the opportunity with the review of our local law to really look at how we work with those people, and looking at the United Nations human rights requirements, and also looking at what our officers aren't. Gone are the days where we only employed kind of ex-police to, if you like, patrol the streets. We don't do that anymore. So our local laws officers are really, they know these, particularly the rough sleepers, they know these people by name, and they're working with them, and really not just, well, we don't move people on immediately, but not just if you like, cleaning up things they've left behind. We're really working with them to transition them to other forms of support so they can get housing, etc. And that's not something that happens quickly. It can take 6 or more months. But we are getting the confidence of the traders in the area, who are also wanting, it's sometimes difficult for them to open their shops if they've got people sleeping in the doorway or acting up. And so we've been working with, we've got a joined up approach with a number of agencies, in particular CoHealth, Unison Housing, and now also Launch Housing. So we're working with those agencies, and in our local law, we're taking a more, I suppose, care approach rather than a prescriptive approach to fine people or things like that. Because we find a lot of people have a lot of property with them. They also have, some people have animals, and sometimes the animals aren't that well behaved. So it's quite a complex system, and many of our rough sleepers particularly have mental health or drug and alcohol problems, or a comorbidity of many problems. So
there's so much to take into account, isn't there? This protocol, this homelessness protocol, is that something that's been in place, and it's just that your authorised officers need more training to be able to respond in that way?
Yes, it has been in place since 2020, and but we also do need to update that as well. It does give our authorised officers, well, what it enables is that they work in a kind of a different approach, but we're also training our officers. We do have a 6-month pilot at the moment with a security firm who are working with the local laws officers, really to ensure our local laws officers are safe. But our homelessness protocol, we're working across with other agencies, and we're going to be providing a training program for all our local laws officers in terms of how they deal with people experiencing homelessness or risk to homelessness, and really highlighting the level and complexity of the issues that they're dealing with. So expanding their scope and understanding.
Yes, this security guard trial you're talking about, private security guards, I think in the Footscray CBD, isn't it? This is, I guess, indicative of a broader trend. We've seen Melbourne City Council introduce private security. We're seeing a Truganina trial out in Wyndham. Do you think this is the way going forward, that more councils are going to be responding to these issues in this way?
I think we had an immediate issue, and some of our traders had actually trialled security guards for a month. We've worked very closely with the police, and it's certainly not something that's replacing police. We're hoping that after the 6 months, plus with the training of our local laws officers, we may not need the security. and so we move on to another approach.
Yes. Okay.
We've also got a health hub that's been funded by the state government that the Salvation Army is going to be running in Footscray, and that's going to be the local member, Katie Hall, got funding for 12 months for that. So that's going to be happening with the location in and around Metro West. In central Footscray. So the Salvos will provide not just hot food and support, but referrals to other agencies. And we've also got a co-health van, which is on site now 3 days a week in Footscray, that'll work closely with that. So that has nurses and social workers working out of that. So I think the combination of the health hub plus the co-health work and the joined up approach with the housing associations will mean that we don't really council's core business isn't to employ security guards.
Yes. So you're hoping the combination of all those things will remove the need for that in the longer term, which makes perfect sense. Celia, I noticed also recently you made some comments again in central Footscray, a lot of sites there that have gone undeveloped and are ripe for development, and you put out a challenge to property owners to stop land banking and do something with their land. How's that gone down?
We certainly have with the catch tag, use it or lose it. And we'd actually like the state government to come in behind us and with their review of the Planning Environment Act and provide some carrots or sticks, if you like, to help local government with that. So we've got 22 sites. Some of them have been lying dormant for 15 years. And some of them, and it equals 4,000 homes. So those could have all been built by now, Chris, and would certainly help our housing crisis. So our planning officers are working closely with those developers, and we're encouraging them in the meantime until the market's right for them to construct. What else can that land be used for? So we've just had one site just a couple of days ago opened in central Footscray on the corner of Nicholson and Buckley, which was a former hotel, Belgravia, and the developer there has turned that, it's almost finished, into a public park. So there's pathways, there's trees that have been planted, and so it looks 150% better. So
Is
all
that a
hoardings
permanent solution for that site, or is that just a temporary until
No,
they
when
get to?
it's temporary,
Yeah.
they're all going to be temporary sites. We've talked with some of the developers in Joseph's Road about, as an interim, perhaps providing some additional car parking. We've talked to other developers about kind of activating their sites, which might be, holding festivals or events there, or other uses, or pop-ups. But it's just will really enliven the city if we haven't got those empty sites there.
Yeah. So the face of Footscray is changing, isn't it? And with the new Footscray Hospital development, how's that looking?
Footscray Hospital. If you want to be sick, come to Footscray. Honestly, $1.5 billion hospital to be the largest, most contemporary public hospital in Victoria, and we're all very proud of it and looking forward to it opening in February. And that will, we're also wanting the staff that work there, everything from cleaners, nurses, doctors, specialists, to actually be able to live in the area. So we're looking for housing for them too. So they've done a great job and working very closely with VU. So VU will be transitioning a lot of new graduates into the new hospital. I've had several tours, and I was on one last week with some of the WOMEDA board, and it is just fantastic. In fact, can't wait to see it in action.
Sensational. I saw your face light up when I mentioned the hospital. It's a big thing, isn't it? A big thing for Footscray, a big thing for Maribyrnong. Exciting times ahead.
It is. And our community certainly deserve it, Chris.
Indeed. Celia, lovely to catch up on those few things. Don't be a stranger. I'd love to talk to you again in the near future as these issues develop. And thanks for coming on VLGA Connect.
Thanks, Chris. Have a great weekend.
The VLGA board elections have been held with two positions that came up for the term starting the 1st of July. One of those to be elected is the Mayor of Wyndham, Councillor Mia Shaw. Mayor, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I'm very excited to be elected onto the VLGA board and looking forward to working with the board and the team.
What motivated you to put your hand up for the board?
So I saw that obviously the two positions, had come vacant, and I thought, well, I'm quite passionate about the local government sector, certainly after, 9 years being in the sector, seeing how things have changed and some things, we've certainly grown as a sector, of course. And so I wanted to be able to contribute and give back and hopefully share some of my learnings, that I've had over the last 9 years at Wyndham, to the VLGA, to the board, and obviously to the sector.
Has your approach to these sort of issues changed over that 9 years? As you say, that's a fair bit of time, and we were talking off the air about how much the sector's changed in that time.
Yeah, it has changed. And I think we were talking about, Chris, when I was first elected in 2016, there wasn't really a lot of scrutiny around or public interest in what councils did and elections and when you did budgets and other documents. And we see that much more now. But for me, I think this is a great sector. I've met, wonderful people in the sector, certainly those that work in officers and the operation and how passionate they are, and the work that we do in our communities that we represent can sometimes, have really great, important impacts. So, for me, as I got more into it and saw what local government did, I was keen to contribute more, and I've got a real passion to see it continue to succeed and to be successful because we are an important level of government. We do work really closely with our communities, and our communities really rely on us, to deliver the important services and infrastructure that they need. So I was really keen to be able to participate, at this board level and hopefully, working with my councillor colleagues across the sector and within the sector, to continue to make it a strong level of government.
Terrific. We look forward to having your contribution through the VLGA board, Mayor. Congratulations again, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
Before we wrap up this week's VLGA Connect, I want to let you know that registrations are open for Fast Track 2026 and early bird pricing is available right now. This is the VLGA's national one-day annual conference. It's focused on incivility and its threat to local democracy, bringing together stakeholders from across the sector to address the rise of incivility in public discourse and its impact on democratic processes. If you book before the 31st of December, you can secure early bird prices. To register or find out more, visit the events page of the VLGA website at vlga.org.au. And we look forward to seeing you at Fast Track 2026. That's it for VLGA Connect this week. Thanks to Hunt and Hunt Lawyers for their ongoing support for the program. We'll be back with more next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or on your podcast player to make sure you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, bye for now.